this you starting? Are we recording?
Hello.
Oh, hey.
That was the hello siren.
Yeah, what's going on?
Honestly, it started off as a test just to see if it was going to work. But you know what?
We're just going to keep going?
We're going to let it fly.
All right. We are starting a cult. We're doing it. We are starting a cult that's Grand Up Jake.
It's true.
We're here on Friday again.
Yeah, it is the Friday before Christmas if you're into that holiday. And if you're not, then it's just another Friday. And next week's probably going to suck because a lot of restaurants are closed and shit. So date night's definitely getting canceled next week. Let me tell you that.
There you go.
But we're here. And funny enough, it's in no way the same realm that we visited last week. But I feel that they share some similarities in the mystery world, you know?
They do. It's very mysterious.
Yeah, so it's a really good Russian continuation.
Yeah. Russia is involved. We're going to do today the Dyatlov Pass incident.
Please, for the sake of us as human beings, if you are in any way capable of speaking Russian, don't make fun of us because we'll probably botch some names.
Oh.
We do not speak Russian.
Oh, God.
And it's fucked up.
No, we will get to the list of names that I have, and I am convinced it's going to take me 30 minutes to get through it. There's 10 people.
Rockenstein. No, I don't know what that. Yeah, Rockenstein. That's just a fun, possibly Russian-German word sounding thing. I don't know.
I don't know. I really don't know. I only know English, and not even that well. But this was another suggestion from my good friend Jones. Who last week, that was also a suggestion from Roanoke, is what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Or was that last week? When was this?
That was last week,
That
buddy.
was last week. There we go.
Oh, excuse me. I'm eating some chocolate.
Did you get that chocolate?
It's not that good.
Oh.
But it's chocolate, so it's all right.
Can't be that bad.
All right, we can carry on.
All right.
Oh, it's so good now.
The chocolate? Oh, yeah, you have to let it sink in a little bit. All right. The Dyatlov Pass incident. All right, the Dyatlov Pass incident was an event that occurred in the northern Ural Mountains of Russia between February 1st and 2nd of 1959.
Just in case you didn't know, it is cold as hell up there.
Oh, it's so cold.
Mm-hmm.
It's so friggin' cold, and it's February. Are you shitting me? Northern
Prime
Russia in
death
February.
Season, if you ask me. That is where you die.
It's true.
It's cold. No one wants to move. Ambulances can't get to you. You're dead.
No, it's true. Yeah. Because listen to this. 9 young yet experienced hikers from Ural Polytechnical Institute were all discovered dead under strange and uncertain circumstances in this pass.
How strange.
Isn't that crazy? The truth as to what occurred and led to the group's ultimate demise is still being researched today, and the most recent findings of which they were announced of July of this year.
Ooh.
Isn't that crazy? 2020? They're like still talking about this? But we'll get to that, right? First, we got to start at the beginning. That's where the stories should start.
We must rewind. There we are.
I love the rewind noises lately.
We're rewound.
Rewound. All right, in 1959, 23-year-old radio engineer Igor Dyatlov. So you get it? It's kind of like the pass. The pass was named after this guy because he assembled a group of 9 of his classmates from Ural Polytechnical Institute for a skiing expedition in All right, here's the first one.
Here we go.
Here we go. Sverdlovsk Oblast, Soviet Union.
Oh, yeah, Sverdlovsk Oblast. I know that place.
It sounds like it just rolls off the tongue, but it's all so complicated. All right, there were 8 men and 2 women. And here we go into the list of names, all right?
Take a deep breath.
All right. Igor Dyatlov, all right? Igor Dyatlov. We got that guy.
Good. That guy's easy. Igor.
He's 23. We got Yuri Doroshenko.
Yuri Doroshenko.
21. We have.
Honestly, he sounds like an MMA fighter.
He does. It's
Doroshenko.
very intimidating name. And then we got Lyudmila Dubinina.
They definitely just called her Mila. There's no way.
They had to. 20 years old. That was her. Georgy Spelled with an I-Y at the end.
That's how I spell it, you know?
Really?
Like when I text them, that's how I do it. 'Cause it's like, I always pictured the name George, and you don't put a Y at the end of a George, you know?
No, it's I-Y.
Oh, that's
It's
really weird.
Georgiy.
My mistake. I thought it was IE. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's Russian.
And apparently this is also a nickname because his actual name is Yuri. But we just talked about Yuri
There's too many
Doroshenko.
Yuris.
So,
Yuri
and there's
Doroshenko-
another Yuri at the end.
You know, Yuri Doroshenko is definitely the most imposing of the Yuris in this group because he's
of
the only
course.
one that got to keep the name Yuri and not have like a different moniker. You know, he's like,
This
no,
guy had a
I am the
nickname."
fucking Yuri in the
Oh, yeah.
group. That's me.
There can only be one. So, all right. So it's Georgy Krivoshenko.
A lot of Shankos.
23. Then we have Alexander Kolovatov, 24. Then we have Zenaida Kolmogorova,
Whoa.
who was 22. Then we have Rustam Slobodin.
Rusty Shackelford. huh?
Rustam Slobodin, who was 23.
Whoa.
And then Nikolai Thibubrignoles. It's like a hyphenated name. He like took both names of his parents. It looks French. It looks not right. 23. Then there's Semyon Zolotaryov, who was 38, oldest of the group. There's always
Whoa.
that guy in your college class who's way older than everybody else.
Yeah, he's like he's fucking, what's his name?
Who are you
Oh
talking
my
about?
God, the comedian that everyone hates. He was in Community.
Jeff Dunham. Oh,
He was in not very bad. He was in the fucking Dan Aykroyd movie. The fucking House. Why can't I think of
The
this?
House? What are you talking?
It's John Candy, Dan Aykroyd, and Chevy Chase.
I was thinking someone else that I couldn't remember the name of, but yeah, Chevy Chase. All right.
What was that? What is the name of that movie?
Which one?
Nothing But Trouble.
Nothing-
That's what
Oh.
it is.
I was so lost just now. All right.
How did I get here?
Nothing but trouble. It's like nothing but trouble because he's way older than everybody else. But it's like it's like Chevy Chase in Community.
Yeah. Okay.
That was
Okay.
a journey.
That's how I got there. Sorry.
Man, that was crazy.
We got there, though. We went over the mountain, so to say. We're good.
It's more than these people could say. Yuri Yudin was 21. The easiest name, and he leaves early. So
The guy with the easiest name.
yeah,
he
well,
dipped.
and his name was Yuri, so
This guy's name
Doroshenko
is,
was probably just like, you got to leave.
This guy's name is Derek Johnson. He never made it to the actual summit. He had diarrhea that morning.
He's
He was
actually
late.
never been to Russia. But all right, so each of the individuals was a grade 2 hiker with skiing experience and had a grade 3 certification waiting for them upon their return.
Oh, this was the ultimate test, if you will.
It was.
They did fail it. I hate to spoil that one for you, but they failed it.
But well, it's a big thing you got to do, man. Grade 3 was the highest certification available in the Soviet Union at the time. It required the candidates to traverse 300 kilometers, which is roughly 190 miles.
Fuck that.
And isn't that fucking crazy in February in northern Russia?
Jesus.
You can skip that certification.
No, that's crazy anywhere. It could be 70 degrees, lightly cloudy, with a nice gentle, maybe 8-degree wind, nice breeze picking up off the water. Walking 190 miles is still fucking terrible. Are you kidding me?
Without going inside once? Are you shitting me? All right. Here we go. We got that 190 miles, right. So Dyatlov drew up a route that they were planning on taking through the far northern regions of Sverdlovsk Oblast. And
We're just going to call it the mountain.
I'm going to call it, yeah, pretty
The
much.
mountain.
It doesn't come up too often, but yeah.
You understand. You know.
Sverdlovsk Oblast. And the upper streams of the Lozya River.
That's not too bad. Lozya.
Lozya. It's kind of Lozva. There we go.
I also feel like, you know how, like,
Lozva.
it's one of those things, like, with these names, it's kind of like the Brett Favre conundrum. Like, he says it's pronounced Favre, but that doesn't make any sense based on how it's spelled. And I feel like these Russian names, it's probably the same way. They're like, no, that's actually Goikenshin. They're like, there's not
It's
even
like
a
there's
G.
2 letters in that word. Like,
There's not even a G. It's like, well, yeah, we're from America. We don't understand the international alphabet, you know?
It's Russian. It's a Russian thing. But so yeah, they had this route all mapped out. They went through all those names that are hard to pronounce on the river, Lazva River, and it was approved by the City Route Commission. Apparently, cities in Russia, USSR specifically at the time, had route commissions.
That makes sense.
So this particular February was said to be the most difficult time to make this trek specifically.
And that's how you get to earn that level 3. It doesn't come
There
easy.
you go. It came in a category 3, which I don't know what that means, but it sounds terrible.
I don't want it to be in any category. I just want it to be normal. Anything that when you have to categorize something, you don't categorize normal. You categorize shit that's abnormal.
Can't we just have a normal mountain? You know, the plan in this category 3 weather in February was to trek 200 miles in 16 days.
Damn,
that's pretty fucking crazy. The group was issued.
That's like fucking the Iditarod. That's like some crazy shit.
It's crazy, man.
And they do that shit with like a team of dogs. And these guys are just walking.
It's like, no, we'll do it ourselves over some mountains.
No, I don't want to ruffle any feathers here. I'm a fan of sports. I'm not gonna lie, but those people should be getting paid millions of dollars. Like they're
very much
they're
so.
way more athletic than any athlete that's on television.
The problem is you can't televise it.
Maybe besides like gymnastics, because that's fucking insane. I don't know anyone that could do that shit.
That's a lifestyle.
But yeah, like these people, they're like 190 miles in 2 days in blistering cold up a mountain in Russia. We got you.
I'm gonna sign up voluntarily.
Oh my, dude, these people that's badass.
They got a death wish. So the group was issued their route books on friggin' January 23rd of the 59, and it listed them to follow trail number 5. 2 days later, on January 25th, the group arrived by train in Ivdel, from which they took a truck to Vizhai, a lorry village that is the northernmost inhabited settlement of the region. Okay. So, the group's trek began on January 27th, and a mere day in, on the 28th, 21-year-old Yuri Yudin turned back due to a knee and joint pain, sort of thing going on.
I don't care what you believe in. I don't know I'm not going to tell anyone what to believe, but that was some divine intervention on that guy's part.
It had to.
Some higher power somewhere was just like, it's not your time, buddy. Turn around, go home. Go home.
He also suffered from rheumatism and a congenital heart defect, so I think he was just like, I got to cut my losses. Like, my knee already hurts, so you shitting me?
Yeah, I made it 3 miles. 187 to go. I can't do it, man. I got maybe 40 minutes in me left.
We haven't even started going uphill. So the remaining 9, they trudged on. All right. Diaries and cameras belonging to the hikers were discovered at their last campsite that gave a little insight on the trek leading up to the incident, right?
All right.
So, on January 31st, the group cached a little food in the woods in a valley for the trip back. You know, just like some little treat, like we made it. Let's stop and have these Ritz crackers. So the next day, they began moving over the pass, planning to make camp that night on the opposite side of the pass. Okay? So, however, there was some crazy fucking weather because it was a Category 3. It was February in northern Russia. Crazy weather. It proved to be worse than expected. A snowstorm was falling and the visibility was low, and this caused the group to deviate west. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Towards this thing called Kholat Syakhl, which translates to Dead Mountain.
Oh.
So that's probably good, right?
That's pleasant.
Yeah. The elements are pointing us towards death. So, once the group realizes their mistake, they decide to set up camp, and then then and there on the slope of the mountain. Some wonder why the group chose to do this when there was a wooded area less than a mile away that would have provided much better cover in the harsh weather.
Ooh.
But Yuri Yundin, or wait a minute. Yeah, that's his name. Yudin, not Yundin. It's Yudin. Yuri Yudin, the guy who turned back, he later speculated, and he was like, Dyatlov probably didn't want to lose the altitude that they had already gained. Because I don't know if you've like gone in mountains or on trails and stuff.
Yeah, you don't want to fuck up the pressure. You don't want to go up and down. You want to stay at a nice steady pace where your body can adjust properly.
And that's why
you will run out of oxygen and suffocate.
It's true. That's why people fucking can't get out of the Grand Canyon. They're trying to get back up. They're just raising elevation. They're exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
So, he probably didn't want to lose the altitude. He also speculated he was trying to practice camping on the sides of mountains. Maybe it was practice, he says. So.
Maybe.
Before leaving, Dyatlov had agreed to send a telegram to the group's sports club immediately upon their returning to Vizhai. This was expected to occur on February 12th, right? About 16 days after they left. Though delays were common in this kind of expedition, which I can imagine, you know. So the 12th passed and there was no immediate action that was taken. However, on February 20th, they're just like, this is getting a bit excessive. They're gone, we're not hearing anything. On the 20th, the hikers' families demanded that a rescue group be sent to look for them.
That's a smart idea.
Yeah, it's reasonable, right? So the first group of searchers was comprised of volunteer students and teachers from the institute that they were all from, you know. But eventually the police force and the army became involved, utilizing planes and helicopters. So.
That's smart.
Yeah, right. I mean, you can see things from way up high.
Could go check out the area. I mean, you gotta have maybe some thermal vision, perhaps.
Yeah. You got like a very dark reason for being there, but I'm sure the view is breathtaking.
Oh, absolutely.
So, 6 days later, on February 26th, the group's campsite was discovered to be abandoned and in disarray. All of the hikers' belongings appeared to have been left behind, and the tent was half torn down and covered with snow. Not looking good. There was a large cut in one side of the tent that investigators say was made from the inside. Do you think that may have just been someone super pissed off at a zipper or something?
Kind of. I don't know. A little bit, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's too...
Tents are idiots.
There's too much weird shit that I don't like getting caught up on, like, the dumb stuff that doesn't really matter, you know? So, I mean, maybe it's more to me, it's like, I think the real mystery comes a little bit later, you know? Like, I mean,
just sucked in so much spit.
It's just funny to me, like, especially, you notice that a lot when you read about things like this, that I would not call this a conspiracy theory, because it's not. It's more of a event that is mysterious and no one really can explain. And when things like this happen, people grasp onto some of the weirdest information that is so irrelevant to the cause.
It's all got to be presented, man.
Like,
it's all got to be there.
How are you going to forget that the shoelaces he wore were... It's like, dude, it doesn't matter. Like, we got to take the whole picture in. So I like your thoughts. Like, it's nothing.
May have just been someone pissed off.
It probably... Yeah, I'd be pissed.
You know? But all right. So there's a large cut in the side of the tent. Everyone says it's from the inside. Who cares? 9 sets of footprints were found. Right? So some with only one shoe on. Weird. Some with only socks on. Worse. And some of them were barefoot. Isn't that just terrible? Apparently it was between -13 and -22 degrees the entire time. So this is fucking ridiculous. So, all right. The tracks led down to the wooded area less than a mile away that I talked about earlier. Down the slope where next to a large Siberian pine tree The remnants of a small fire as well as 2 bodies were found.
Damn.
So it's starting to unfold.
The great unveiling.
Now I have to say all these names again. All right.
There's the list.
Krivonshenko and Doroshenko. Both of their bodies were found stripped of all but their underwear. Nude in the extreme cold. Not good.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I've seen Bear Grylls do it, so maybe I get where they were trying to go, but...
I don't know about Bear Grylls.
I don't know. He's got a camera crew.
He does. Probably some food back there. He has endless caches. But, so they were found, right? Stripped of all but their underwear. And the tree that they were underneath had a substantial amount of branches broken about 5 meters up.
Okay, so now we're talking.
So this is fucking weird. A lot of people speculate that this may have been them trying to like get up to higher ground to see around them, to see if they could find their people, find a campsite, something.
Potentially.
But it's like the breaks of these branches is they're very perfect.
And
they're
also,
very perfect and super high up. There's no branches broken on the way down underneath it. It's so weird.
I would argue that claim makes no sense because you're going up a mountain. So yeah, you would definitely get a better view of your surroundings, but climbing a tree, you're not going to get the view you're looking for,
yeah,
you know.
That's more for like a flat forested area.
If anything, you would just trek on and go up the trail higher because you'd have a better view of what you're looking for. I mean, maybe I'm wrong in that scenario. I guess I don't know the lay of that particular land that the tree was in. But to
it was
me,
at the base of a mountain, basically.
Yeah, like,
it's the edge of the woods where it begins to become a mountain.
And these people, they're hikers, so hikers would probably hike up further to get a better view, as opposed to wasting their energy on climbing a tree when they have 190 miles to walk.
No, it's true.
Just me. It is
true, but they walked down there barefoot, so they're probably just like, oh, fuck, how far is it? How long do I have to have my toes cracking off in my hands?
There's absolutely no way. I would give it maybe 2.5 minutes before your feet are like really badly hurt, and then at 5 minutes your feet are no longer a part of your body. Like they have to be removed.
Yeah, no, definitely. So between substantial amount of broken branches, 5 meters up. But between the tree and the campsite, the bodies of Dyatlov, Kolmogorova, all right, and then Slobodin. Why does Slobodin make me laugh so much?
It's like a slobotomy.
Slobodin.
It's a slobotomy.
It's like a toboggan and lobotomy.
A toboggan and a scrotum.
And slimy lobotomies. Anyway, he was dead, along with the other two, Dyatlov and Kolmogorova. I don't know why I'm rolling the R. But, and so the direction that they were all facing suggests that they were all attempting to return to the campsite. Because they were just frozen. They were dead, but they were facing back up the mountain, right?
All right.
So they were found 980, 1,570, and 2,070 feet from the Siberian pine that we just mentioned earlier with the campsite and the other two dead folks.
Ooh.
Thank you. So finding the remaining 4 people, that took about 2 months because they were just like, where the fuck are these people? And you want to know where they ended up being? They were discovered about 200 feet away from the tree, under 13 feet of snow.
Ooh, that's
apparently in a ravine. Just so lot. Close. But 13 feet of snow, are you shitting me?
Let me tell you this: if you're in America, this week, I'm sure we've all heard of that by now. The Northeast got destroyed. Yeah. They had 44 inches. The highest they marked was 4 feet of snow. That's insane. Now, and these people are on a mountain with more than triple that amount of snow.
No, see, that's the fun part. On the mountain, and even like where the tree is, that's like probably a good amount of snow, like 3-4 feet.
Oh, yeah.
But going farther into the woods is like deep as fuck. And it's only in that one area.
That's
But
peculiar.
I know what you're thinking. I know what everyone's thinking.
Snow machine.
Snow machine. It's not a ski resort. But no, avalanche. But we'll get into why that is bullshit.
No, I'm thinking
Later.
snow machine.
It might be a snow machine.
Avalanches.
You know what? I didn't even consider that.
We all know avalanches are a myth. Like, they're not real, right?
Avalanches are a psyop.
They've been. The CIA pushes avalanches to keep you away from the mountains.
Get away with me.
That's where they keep all the gold and the drugs.
Yeah. Get away
Duh.
with this crazy avalanche talk. All right. Anyway, the first 5 bodies to be discovered, they were examined and they were found to have no fatal injuries. Slobodin had a small skull fracture, but it was not said to have been fatal. Right, so weird. Not really, but so all right, we'll get into it. The first 5 hikers discovered were speculated to have died from hypothermia. Okay, but the remaining 4 bodies, they told a very different story. So this guy's name, Thibaut Brignoles.
The only other name I know that's remotely like that was that basketball player. It was kind of spelled similar. His name was Thabo.
Thabo?
Yeah, and it's kind of spelled the same way. So like,
Was that his first name or?
yeah.
What? This is just this guy's hyphenated last name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Then, yeah, okay.
Thibaut Brignoles or something. I don't know. He suffered from extreme damage to his skull. Okay, extreme damage. And Dubinina and Zolotaryov had major chest fractures. Their chests were basically caved in, and this guy's head was just hamburger meat. So, apparently the force needed to produce the injuries such as these is equated to that of a car crash. These are not things that like humans can do to one another.
Most humans. Have you ever seen The Hulk?
I have.
That's a documentary.
Oh my god. So, finding in the wait a minute, hang on. All 4 had soft tissue damage on their heads and faces. For example, Dubinina was missing her tongue, eyes, lips, and parts of her skull. They were gone. Zolotaryov's eyes were missing, and Kolevatov's eyebrows were gone. The eyebrows specifically on that one, I think that's kind of funny.
Yeah, it is interesting because you wonder, what's the point? I feel that
like
is so much work.
Yeah, to just have your like eyebrows gone, that seems very, very on purpose.
Or perhaps it
by
was,
whoever did that.
Perhaps whatever or whomever took it.
There you go.
Didn't know what eyebrows were.
Whoever desecrated these people's bodies has just a full face worth of parts now.
Yeah, they do.
They made their own face. Tongue,
it's kind of like
eyebrows.
the creeper from Jeepers Creepers. He just collects parts of your body until he can make a new one.
He just like he caches it. All right. It's pretty crazy so far. So these people are not looking good. They're not looking photo ready. Another strange finding that I feel needs to be mentioned is that there was a level of radiation that was found on a single hiker's clothing.
That is strange in
Could
and of
not
itself.
find which one specifically had it, but that was released. Radiated clothes. So, all of this culminates into one big fucking mystery, right? For every explanation that seems reasonable, there are 1 or 2 details of the story that render the explanation moot. Okay? Initial speculation pointed fingers at the Mansi people. The Mansi people are like reindeer herders that are local to that area.
Uh-huh.
They live up there. It's insane. They were accused of attacking and murdering the group for trespassing on their land. However, the medical examination did not support this claim, and after a number of the Mansi people were interrogated, this theory was cast off. All right, cast behind you.
All right, that's fair.
Right. All right, so official causes of death. So say the official records. Igor. I'm going first names now, all right?
That's fair. That's fair.
Igor, hypothermia. Yuri, hypothermia. Lyudmila, internal bleeding from a severe chest trauma.
Yikes.
There's a leap there.
That's a rough one too, because it seems like it could be explained by the activity that she chooses to do in hiking. I mean, if you take a bad fall, I can definitely see you. But again, it's weird. How do you fall and suffer chest trauma and not?
Don't know. I feel like
it's so it's hard. It'd be very difficult to do. It'd be a very unlucky fall to have that be the result.
Yeah, it'd be like you're puffing out your chest and you land flat on just a rock.
Yeah, that's perfectly shaped to not hit your head,
torso,
or your stomach, or any other part of your body.
What, your chin isn't going to be scraped a little bit from that? Like, come on.
Yeah, so that it's strange.
Another strange thing. I'm not done with the names yet, but another strange thing about them mentioning specifically internal bleeding. The internal organs of like every person that was found is next to never mentioned in any of the reports. It's just like, yeah, they had some skull fractures.
Okay, they were dead. How'd they die?
They were really cold. They were really cold.
They died because of death.
Oh my God. All right, let's just keep going with the names. Georgie, hypothermia. Alexander, hypothermia. Zineda, hypothermia. Rustum, hypothermia. Nikolai, fatal skull injury. And then Semyon,
yum yum.
severe chest trauma. Not too yum yum.
Okay. If you want to, okay, just based on where we're at now in this story, I would say the only clear answer here is that two people suffered chest trauma. I'm going to go out on a limb and say there's no way that happened from them walking or hiking. Somebody or something caused this trauma that led to them dying. I would probably look at one of the hypothermia people.
It's like one of those hypos.
They clearly lasted a little bit longer, at least what we would understand in this scenario. So,
well, they were looking a hell of a lot better when they died.
And I mean, we got 3 that are dead because of pretty much blunt force trauma somewhere. And
then you got the other 6 that are just fucking cold.
Yeah, so it raises some questions just among the group itself.
And it's just so weird. Why did they leave? Why did they leave their campsite? They left without their fucking shoes on. These people were found next to naked sometimes, and there is evidence to show that maybe some of them died before the others, and then they just stripped them naked because some of them were wearing strips of cloth that they'd ripped. But these people left their they left their campsite in a hurry. It seems
it's like they turned feral overnight and just became rabid humans.
It's so weird. We'll get into some of the explanations. How about this? Why did they flee their campsite? The diarrhea, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, dude! I almost pooped my pants on the way home today.
That'll happen, dude. When you gotta go, sometimes you gotta go.
It was so close, and I was just driving like 5 miles under the speed limit behind this guy. I was gonna kill him. But
you gotta go, man. You gotta go.
I made it, in case anyone was wondering.
Nice.
Yes. So, the official cause of death, as of July 11th of 2020, is said to have been an avalanche. However, here's how we get into all these fucking.
You know what I do when
avalanche
I get trapped
bullshit.
in snow? I take off all my clothes and leave.
All of them. No evidence of an avalanche was found, all right? None. Specifically, the camp was discovered on top of the snow, so they would have no reason to leave, okay? Also, there was no widespread debris. The injuries sustained were nowhere near as bad as they would have been had it been an avalanche that occurred. The tree line below the mountain that would have been severely damaged appeared undisturbed. Dyatlov was also studying for his master's certification in ski instruction and mountain hiking So it is thought to be absurd that he or any of the other people, because they were all super experienced, would have set up like camp in an area where they thought that an avalanche might even be a possibility. Okay, and over 100 expeditions through this area have been undergone since this incident, and none have ever reported even like the likely conditions for an avalanche to occur in this area. And
bingo.
Even more chilling, the fucking footprints that led down to the wooded area, that like they reflect individuals that were walking at a normal pace. So these people are just fucking walking.
They're just sauntering, if
no
you will.
shoes, only socks, maybe one shoe. It's insane. So they're walking at a normal pace, as opposed to the panicked run one might expect from a situation as serious as an avalanche. So you know what? The newest finding, 2020, I think that's bullshit. There ain't no avalanche.
Yeah,
It's nowhere to be found.
I don't know. See, I'll wait till the end. I'll explain my
because there are a few other things. Here's another explanation, possibly. Katabatic wind is another speculated explanation.
We all know wind is also not real, so what's the point?
Yeah, but when
all
it's
of these
katabatic,
excuses aren't real. Wind?
Have you ever seen the wind? I don't trust it. No, katabatic wind occurs when high-density air is forced down a slope, right, with just the force of gravity. But these winds are so fucking crazy. They're also called, like, drainage winds, I guess. They're, like, so... They can rush down so, like, fucking quickly. They're equated to, like, hurricane speeds winds. Just, like, going directly on the surface of the slope, just going down. And this would surely have made it next to impossible to remain in the tent. I don't know, maybe the mouth of the tent was facing upward towards the mountain, so maybe that's why they cut the other side to just like slide on down. Perhaps, maybe. I don't know. But there's also some other things with wind. Infrasound could also have played a part. So wind going around the dead mountain sometimes form these sort of like pockets wherein like small vortexes form. And they often give off infrasound. Infrasound, it describes like sound waves that are too low for humans to like. It's too low of a frequency for us to actually pick up audibly.
Like a dog whistle.
Like a dog whistle. But probably much like a dog whistle, if the wind is strong enough and the infrasound is like intense enough, it can cause panic attacks due to like it's like fucking up with your eardrums and like inner ear.
That makes
it's panic attack inducing wind.
I kind of understand that. I mean, you're up on the. I mean, people go crazy over like nothing. Even the idea of cabin fever, that's very real.
Yeah.
Look at fucking Timothy McVeigh. But you know, things of that nature. I mean, yeah, shit can really set people off when you're under extreme circumstances doing an extreme activity. It's only increased chances for this to happen.
Extreme chances. All right, ready to start doing some This is the conspiracy theory. Is all these people conspiring? Anyway, some say the military was responsible for the incident as well. All right, it is speculated that parachute mine exercises could have been the culprit. So it is documented that parachute mines were indeed being tested in the area by the military at the time. These mines, they're basically things that explode before they hit the ground and have very particular, like, signature injuries that they inflict. Heavily, like, internal damage, like as opposed to the comparably less external damage that they give. Which aligns with the injuries sustained by the hikers.
All right.
Pretty crazy. Some also speculate that the bodies were unnaturally manipulated and positioned due to liver mortis, which is like when the blood like goes to one side of the body and congeals, so you can tell like what the state of the body was before it moved.
Oh, absolutely.
There you go. And so liver mortis markings uncovered in the autopsies. So there were also orange orbs. We got some orb action.
Cheese puffs?
No. No, these are way better. They're like cuties. Like the small oranges.
Like orange jawbreakers,
Yeah.
Flying through the sky. This is a good mountain. We should all go there.
There we go, dude. Everyone loved
Candyland.
Dude, the hikers saw it. They photographed it. Orange orbs. It was great. No, it wasn't. They're dead. But still, the orange orbs were there. And many used this piece of evidence to support the militaristic claim.
Whoa.
Saying that they were perhaps military planes and or maybe the parachute mines themselves.
That's reasonable, I think.
Yeah. And so a possible explanation for the hikers being in various states of undress that has been presented, and that might be it. Best way to keep warm, I would assume.
You're going up to a mountain, obviously. If you've ever seen a movie, when you get a group of more than 3 people together, and there is a male and a female involved, and
and they're college students.
If they're both, into each other, it could be whatever sex you want. But there
you go.
They're gonna hook up. That's just what's gonna happen.
It almost has to happen.
That's human nature right there.
Because of danger of hypothermia. But anyway, so they were all found in various states of undress. It has been presented that the strange phenomenon known as
naked clothing ghosts.
Almost. It's paradoxical undressing. Let me explain.
It's when you get naked, but you actually are putting clothes on.
But it's a paradox.
That's the paradox. You're clothing yourself by becoming more naked.
Don't you see, you fools?
No, I don't.
Me either, man. But individuals experiencing hypothermia sometimes apparently it's a certain percentage of people who've experienced hypothermia. They sometimes get to the point of their extreme cold where they actually perceive what they're feeling to be heat. Like a heat that's been described as burning warmth.
Yeah, no, I have heard that.
Yeah, and it just causes you to just take off your clothes and ultimately die faster.
That's one of the biggest... It's honestly one of the biggest killers in hypothermia because you you get so... honestly, you've probably had that before. Like when you get so cold, your hands are numb, and after a while, without doing anything about it, you kind of stop thinking about it. Yeah. Then you touch them and you're like, oh, that's hot. But it's not. Yeah. It's your body reacting, trying to keep it warm, and it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
So that I understand. I definitely think that could be part of it.
Yeah. So it's fucking crazy. All this shit happened. There's all these different explanations, but there's always a hole in every explanation. Meanwhile, they're still fucking looking into it. 2020, July, are you shitting me, of this year? They are still talking about this, the person, the head person at the Ural Mountain fucking whatever. They're just yeah, it was a fucking avalanche. And I say no. No, it wasn't.
Realistically, I have a couple different takes on this. I'll start with what probably, in my head, at least, is a realistic explanation of what happened. I feel like it's a mix of all the things we kind of discussed, where there's no actual signs of there being an avalanche, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they didn't think there was going to be. So perhaps maybe it's the wind, or maybe it really is just, they became panicked and they were convinced that something bad was going to happen where they were, so they just picked up and left without thinking of what could happen, and then by then it was too late.
But then it is strange that they have, some of them were barefoot, and evidence shows that they were walking. They were literally going at a normal pace of walking.
Yeah, that is.
Some of them one of them had one shoe on.
Okay.
This is what I'm talking about. There's no way around all these things.
Let me finish this. I think, realistically, to me, the best example would be 1 or maybe 2 people in this camp were experiencing some sort of paranoia and enhanced anxiety. And, you hate to admit this, but human nature is going to take its course, and if those people are already on edge, perhaps they felt threatened by someone else in said group, and they, instead of, being a rational person and trying to figure it out, they attacked that person. To me, this could explain not only the trauma, but also the no shoes, because I'm just assuming these people are, average citizens, mild-mannered, not killers.
They're just some college kids
Yeah,
that
just
like
kids.
to hike.
And perhaps, one, maybe two, maybe even three, who knows, of them were experiencing some sort of psychological trauma in this scenario.
Perhaps.
And maybe they performed these acts and hurt these people that they were with, and they were brought back to the reality of their situation, so distraught that they were just pretty much moving on instinct and didn't even think about, like, oh yeah, it's cold, I need a jacket and a shirt and pants. Obviously, yeah, that's a reaching thing. That's more of a movie-esque look at things.
But also, like,
Another thing.
The camp was abandoned. All of them walked out.
This is another thing. I think this falls into the one of two possible realistic scientific explanations. And I mean, I said this off air earlier. I don't see why it's not impossible that there could be some sort of tribe or like a Sherpa, family of Sherpas, or perhaps a community that lives in this area.
Are you suspecting the Manzi reindeer herders?
Potentially. Maybe not necessarily them, but I mean, there's got to be people that live there or have been there or know the land of some sort.
Yeah.
So, in that sense, maybe, I mean, I guess that's a whole other can of worms. Like, why would they attack these people? Yeah. But maybe the walking out of the camp at a slow pace with no shoes on, maybe it wasn't because they were crazy. Maybe it was because they were at gunpoint or something of that nature. And maybe it didn't turn into a murder scenario. Maybe it was a robbery. It could have even been potential other hikers that they saw that this was a large group and they went in and wanted supplies and took what they could.
Maybe.
Again, those are very something you'd see in a movie, but I mean, I don't know. If you want to be, my personal opinion, there's some weird supernatural shit happening.
I think there might be. There's radiated clothes. There's broken branches far higher than there should be. I don't know, man. There's a bunch of weird shit. They went down the mountain with not enough clothes. They tried to go back up. Meanwhile, they're making a fire and getting naked. These other people were burying themselves in 13 feet of snow, and they're losing all their face parts.
Yeah,
I don't understand. Like, I really don't understand, and I really want to. But no one does, and that's infuriating.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, really the only way you'll ever know is if you were there, and no one was. So, I don't know, because you think about it, and then, like, I mean, you obviously, yeah, for someone like me, I want to jump towards extraterrestrials first, mostly because of the radiation. I think that's a weird little thing.
Yeah, and I don't know, the fact that, like, the people that actually had physical things wrong with them, like the chest caved in and the skull, like, fucking
it's very surgical almost.
It is very surgical, and it, like, medical examiners came to the conclusion that no human could do this with just blunt force and it was all from the inside. Like, there was no outer markings.
Yeah, it's almost like
it's like pressure.
Yeah,
but there wasn't an avalanche. Like,
so,
there's too many things pointing against that. So why were they under all this snow?
Right.
Why are their tongues and eyes missing?
And it's like, I want to jump to extraterrestrials because that's like the coolest thing to me.
It really is.
But then again, I mean, okay, yeah, every encounter is going to be different, but then you really analyze stories of extraterrestrials, and I have never come across another story like this where extraterrestrials just straight up, like, gangland style, brutally murdered a group of people and just flew away. You know, like,
yeah.
It's not like, especially with extraterrestrials, if you are to believe the stories, they would take you because they want to study something or they want to know something.
Yeah.
They wouldn't just kill you and leave you in the mountains. So,
hey, man.
I mean, again, there's always the exemption to every rule, but it's just weird that there's no other similar trope like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's why aliens aren't really brought into this scenario a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy for so-called claimed experts in the topic to just be like, well, this is something that doesn't follow the pattern of what we have.
Yeah, and it's kind of like I've been thinking about this. Like, how do we know? Like, just from this story specifically, I started thinking about this. Like, I get that aliens, like, should they be out there, which I'm sure they are. Whatever, who cares?
Yeah, probably in some way.
I think they're out there. But like the ones that we like make up in our minds that are like, oh, they have advanced technology. They like are studying us. They're taking us. How do we know that like they're not like just because they're so advanced doesn't mean they don't have their fair share of like they probably have a serial killer population in the population of their species. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Everyone's got a bad
there's
apple.
There's insane people. There's terrible people everywhere.
Bad
Why
eggs
can't
in a
aliens,
bunch.
As above, so below?
Yeah, I get that.
Come on.
And then obviously
maybe this guy was just I don't know. I don't know.
The final one that I would say, just for the sake of us being us and this show existing,
is it the Yeti?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it has to be the Yeti.
I don't believe that. First off, because the little I do know of the Yeti, it's really just the eastern Bigfoot, the cold Bigfoot, if you will.
The cold Bigfoot.
But even in scenarios where they're violent or they're so-called claimed to be violent, it's a bloodbath. Like it isn't. It's not. It wouldn't leave 6 people to die of hypothermia and just like hurt other people. If it was truly a Yeti attack, you have to assume
you wouldn't have found him.
Yeah, exactly. You have to assume that the Yeti is either A, an animal, or B, an extraterrestrial. In both of those cases, it wouldn't just do nothing to you. It would probably take you or rip you apart or eat you or something of that nature.
You'd be like John White showing up, finding some bones of some people you thought were there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why, I mean, I think the Yeti, if you are one to believe in the Yeti, it could very easily be an explanation, but at the same time, it doesn't answer any of the questions of why were they disrobed, why were they shoeless, why were they sauntering into the cold, and
where are their eyes?
Exactly. Like,
where's that one's tongue?
So to me personally, I can write off that one as absolutely not.
Probably not. I mean, maybe he came along later and buried him or something. I don't know.
I don't want to believe that. The first one about the wind, but realistically, that's probably one of the best scenarios you're gonna get.
Which one? The one where it's like wind forcing them down, or wind causing them to freak out?
Kind of, yeah, like the psychosis. Like,
yes, infrasound.
I definitely don't think it was only some crazy wind. I think it was a mix of. Honestly, just the pressure of that situation. You have to walk so far. It's not a good situation.
200 miles up a mountain, negative degrees.
That is enough to legitimately make someone go insane. And I don't think it's too far-fetched to think that one or maybe 2 of the individuals in this group just lost it and couldn't handle that pressure.
I could see that, dude.
Freaked the fuck out.
And you're like signing up for this. You're like jumping through hoops to be able to do this, and then you're in the thick of it. You're gonna snap. Mm-hmm. If you can't handle it, you can't handle it.
And I don't necessarily think it needs to be something as crazy as, he slaughtered everyone. I think if you want to be realistic, I mean, again, this is kind of a Hollywood plot line, but let's say, for example, in this scenario, one individual goes crazy and attacks another person. Another person tries to defend that person and loses. Therefore, they got the head trauma. That means now we have 2 people. Maybe could possibly explain something. Maybe not. We don't know.
Who knows?
The third, it's an outlier. Then perhaps, or perhaps, this is on the fly here, but this is what I think realistically could have happened. The person that snapped is the same person that has the head trauma. Because then that way, that person would have done the same thing to 2 people, going down the line of the people in this group. And by the time they figured out what was happening, they had to stop it. So they attacked that person, bashed their fucking head in, and then there you go. The other people, there's 6 other people, right? They're all freaking out. They're like, oh, fuck. what else are you going to do? You're going to sit down and bask in it for a minute, but you can't do that because you're in the elements and you're going to
freeze. You're going to
freeze.
sit down, try to make a small fire in the pines, and while a couple of you go try to get your stuff back at the campsite, and they freeze. But the injuries, dude, I don't think they inflicted it on each other. There was nothing outward. It was all inward. Like, their chests were caved in. There wasn't even a fucking bruise. There was no, like, scrapes.
I'm
crumbled.
in absolutely no way a scientist or a doctor or anything of that nature. I have no credentials in any of those fields. Is it possible that perhaps these individuals were affected by the change in pressure? Is that something that is plausible? Because the head trauma could be explained by many different things. I mean, you can get head trauma fucking falling out of the shower. So that one you can chalk up to whatever.
Yeah, but the
chest thing, that makes me think perhaps, I don't know, maybe if you're asthmatic or you have some type of lung issue and you're in this high pressure change, perhaps it can make the lungs, in a sense, collapse. That would definitely cause you some internal bleeding. I think.
But it would that? Hey, yeah, maybe.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
If that could happen, then that would like cause maybe some of the other hikers to do like CPR on them. And if you're doing CPR properly, that's going to cave in your rib cage to some degree.
Absolutely.
And maybe they're overdoing it because they're freaking out and the severity of the situation.
And right, you wouldn't have any outward.
So maybe You
would not have any outward signs from CPR. You might have, a little
bruise on the sternum.
I mean, especially in cold weather like that, I don't know. Do you bruise easier or harder because your blood is already working double overtime?
Your blood is like molasses.
So I mean, there's a million different plausible answers, but there really is no right answer.
But there's not, all the details of this story, there's not an explanation that all of them fit into.
Yeah, no.
At least well. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, you could be that individual and just say these are all, it's a series of mass coincidences and a horrible tragedy. Maybe that's the case, but when you really look at it, there's a lot of questions that I feel need to be answered.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't all fit. It doesn't.
You know what would make this story like way less interesting but still just as crazy? To me personally, if that guy who had one shoe on just either had both shoes or just no shoes at all. Why one shoe?
What do you think the guy that left early thinks? Like, what do you
think? He died in 2013 of natural causes.
What do you think he thought? He was just like, what the fuck? Oh, my God.
Damn it. Dude, he's kind of the reason that people didn't immediately go look for him. Because apparently, like, the one day in, when he left, Dyatlov was just like, hey, yeah, I know I said I was going to call, like, our like, sports fucking membership thing on the 12th, but it's probably going to take a little longer than that, okay? So just know that in going back. And he was like, all right, sick, dude. And that's why they waited the extra 8 days to go and try to find him. So, I mean, granted, they all died that night.
If you want more Hollywood, I think we should look at that guy. Maybe he went back out there and killed him.
Maybe.
That really wouldn't explain anything, but you gotta explore all.
That would just raise way more questions.
If you don't explore those avenues, you'll never get the answers. You gotta look.
The avenues.
Wow.
The pass.
Yeah. That is Dyatlov Pass.
Dyatlov Pass.
Dyatlov Pass.
Incident.
You go to Dyatlov Pass, you do not come back.
In Soviet Russia, trail hikes you.
In Soviet Russia, you die. That's just their fucking slogan.
Yeah, they're very on-the-nose people.
Oh, but that is our episode.
It is for this Friday. When's Christmas? Is that exactly a week?
1 week from today.
What do you think? We're going to do episode the following day, maybe? Probably that Saturday.
That was kind of my plan. Was Saturday would be ideal. So we'll be back next Saturday. Funny enough, though, next Friday is the 2-year anniversary of the show.
Isn't that beautiful?
It That is crazy to think about.
I'm not gonna get as drunk as I did for the 1-year anniversary.
2 years. That's fucking insane. We're slowly, rapidly at the same time as slowly approaching the 100th episode mark. And honestly, I'm very comfortable in telling the patrons what will be happening on the episode that we do Tuesday, because we just came up with a pretty great plan for that episode. So you guys will know, but if you're not on the Patreon, you don't get to find out.
So Patreon, we will unveil to you our evil doings.
Yes, just know that the 100th episode will be it'll be unique. It will be very unique.
It'll be cool.
There will be some things that I don't know if the fans will be expecting. So be ready for that. You got a couple of weeks, you prep yourself, have a good holiday, and enjoy your
whatever it is you're doing during this season of the holidays. A lot of them kind of bottleneck here at the end of the year.
Yeah, do your thing. They throw them all at you at once. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but it's
They do.
okay.
They throw them at you.
But we will be back a week from tomorrow, if you're listening to it today, on the 18th of December.
Yeah.
And if you're not, we'll be back on Saturday the 26th. Yes.
Motherfuckers. Yeah.
So enjoy your holiday, everybody. Have a great one. And if you're feeling generous, donate to the Patreon so that we can throw an even better Christmas for everyone that is part of our show.
No, it's true. There's a lot of them. And I was so disappointed last week. I forgot to say, follow us on all the shit, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And we also are at startacult@gmail.com. Email us with some thoughts, ideas, maybe some feedback. Maybe you just say hi. Maybe you send us some hate mail. I don't care. And also the Patreon link that we just said. But I forgot to do that last week for the first time in like forever.
Yeah.
And it was hard to get through this week knowing that.
Hey, you made a full recovery here, so it's all good.
So there you go.
Everything is back. Yeah, so you guys enjoy your holiday, if you will, if that's your thing. If not, then just
enjoy your day.
Have another week. Have a good one, and we'll be back in no time at all.
Yeah, toodaloo. We are starting to call this Graham Jake. Goodbye.